And I think for 2 game, if they're expecting things, and also an interesting point too. You mentioned the conversion as being more important than the pistol round itself, and that's something I think that's become more and more evident as CS2 has evolved as a game. Is that the pistol round's not really the critical point anymore. It's that second round that really decides whether or not a half is going to start out successfully or not. But here we go. We can stop pontificating. We can get into the action. Art with a full belt of utility. Nade, flash, smoke, and Molotov. And there's a dual Beretta pair on Doc. Unsilenced USP for B-God, who's got 2 on the headshot, making a third. This is insane, but he cannot get more than 3. But has he done enough? There's only 2 left standing, and they both lack a vest. It's Art and Zevi with the bomb.
Full pause here, trying to take some sort of a contact play. DZT will find one head, doesn't fire off a bullet. Just trying to gather more and more intel and start a crossfire to be set up, but completely silent. Our Fluxo. Backs turned. Doc has a 1 kill on a platter, but there it is. DZT will finish the job, and now it's just Art. He gets dispatched of, and there's that pistol that we're looking for. Can they find the conversion? I feel as though they can, considering Fluxo weren't able to find the bomb plant.
Yeah, it might even just be a full save from Fluxo here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that either. I think it's, considering the lack of kills, the more logical option. You don't really have much to go in with. So, P250 here and there, maybe. Yeah, that's going to be it. A couple flashbangs for Art. P250 for Zevi. Should be 2 in a row here for 2game to start this off on Nuke on that CT side. And that nade's going to do not as much damage as it initially looked to be capable of. The rifle out on Unbreakable and DZT will actually just do damage for assisting as the Scout VHZ has found 3, and he's looking for more. That's the Scout with unarmored opponents too. A little bit of chip damage here and there. So powerful.
Doing damage with the Scout is always nice. Gives you some confidence. And Che, come on, buddy. You're getting cheeky with it. Doc will shut it down. Nice, clean anti-eco there from 2game. They amass quite a bit of cash because of that, which is really nice for them. It means that there's not as much pressure on this round number 3 here. They can have a little bit of a time to go aggressive, try out a different maneuver here and there, maybe try to catch Fluxo off guard. But this is to set the tempo of this first half out the gates for Fluxo.
Want to see Art get activated. Want to see the whole team get activated. Just 2 kills through 2 rounds. Look how is he going aggressive outer yard. Only a 1-for-1 trade and no fast refrag onto DZT and Unbreakable either. He does get felled eventually by Zevi on the AK, but B-God has positioned on the stairs. A little bit of a cheeky headshot angle. Doc working around as well, trying to find some sort of equalizer. But Fluxo debate the aggression and are going to work off this ramp control they have. These 2 players creeping in behind towards Hell can take out the 3 players sitting outside while the bomb goes safely down to the lower site.
Yeah, they've read this round like a book, Flux, so they're just worried about potential lobby presence. This is the only real timing that they could have found, considering the squeak door was naded open. And as soon as they get the bomb on the other end, it should be round over, but Art actually faces with the C4 behind him, and that actually goads 2game into thinking that it's the top site that's under fire. Che will get all this information. 35 seconds left on the clock. At this point, I honestly don't know where Fluxo is going because they have just been caught between 2 mines. Eventually, they just settle on the upper side instead, and they should be fine regardless to have a pretty minimal casualty of a round.
Yeah, even 1 more player down. Art very wounded, so he can go down to the bomb pretty much anywhere. We'll have to hope that his teammates find the eliminations quickly, or he'll have to find a gap to escape into a spawn. But other than that, the rest of Fluxo should not have to worry too much about their health and worry about dying. Doc and B-God trying to save their rifles as well. Retreating further into CT spawn. No hunt from Fluxo. They all elect to save. And down goes Art. Because the bomb radius on Nuke now is well, living up to the map's name.
Yeah, it's a little wider, and sub 20 HP is not enough to survive, even if you're straight behind the box as well. But no matter, it's a couple rebuys here, no problem for Fluxo, and 2Game will have another purchase, as mentioned, off that clean anti-eco. No AWP for the defense, and because of that, you have concessions. Spinny on an MP9. Wow, look at this. Faster play outside, potentially double mollies and a squeak door smoke to potentially lurk out of, but they actually don't go off of it. They're just trying to bait out some sort of a utility, and now they're going to actually go in fully silent. Spinny might get caught out here. I wonder if Art can see over that smoke or not. Well, that little sound cue that has been given over with the smoke bonking on top of Art's head. So they do have to back away and rejig the setup here.
Maybe even completely fall off the A take, at least for the foreseeable future. That's a lot of information given over to 2Game, and another smoke over towards Squeaky too, delaying more and more. The outer yard players finding nothing. A very disciplined hold from 2Game right now. Not giving any opening engagements to Fluxo. They're forcing the T's to fight their way in, really going on the offense. I think it's a very good strategy for 2Game if they want to survive with the lack of utility they have left. The MP9 in hand, make Fluxo make a mistake. Force the unforced error. And then work from that. Lukowski, if he doesn't clear towards credit cards, will fall. He clears it late. Does not matter. Spinny coming through. Gets the dink. Not quite more yet. Art's coming through with Che. Double entry onto the site. Spinny stuck in hut. And he is felled as VHZ only good for one in heaven. B got the last one standing. A long rotation through into vending machine and into lobby. Zevi low HP, same with Che. This is very winnable for him. Just needs to deal with the first couple players clean. That's a perfect start. The second vent player could be hard to clear out. I think Che's spot up top hut might be the one that goes unexpected. Chip damage on Art. He's reading it well. That's a good 1-2 punch from the two remaining players of Fluxo.
Oh my goodness. B-God had actually pieced that together. But no Molotov for any of those positions means that he's going to have to take a heads-up engagement and win it cleanly. Unfortunately for him, he could not do it. And that spells the end of 2Game's little stint there. Full eco now necessary. A Deagle purchased up for Doc, but that's about it. And Fluxo have a chance to build a steady base of money now that they've been able to navigate these two buys. It's still just, I mean, there are some errors here and there, but largely, again, it's how we kind of spoke about them in the pregame, where fundamentally these individuals are just strong, and they can muscle themselves out of these situations by winning pure gunfights.
Yeah, that's what you get with Art. And, well, going to be a lot harder to win those gunfights when you get one digged on an entry. That's a good start here for 2Game. Given to them by Doc, who hops up Tetris and onto hut. Lukowski deals with one of the players outside, however. Still making his presence known. Doc hoping for another head to peek through the doorway. The smoke will clue him into what's going on. At least the location of one player. Still, the potential for a trade is there, but if you're Fluxo, do you really want to go into a 3v3 against pistols for one? No. Two, there's the Zeus hiding around at ramp. I love seeing the Zeus come more and more into play. Whether it be just Premier, Faceit matches, ECL, regardless of the situation. It's a cheeky gun. It's good for a kill. And, oh, the Deagle had a lineup on 3, but could not be connected. That should just about seal things out for Fluxo.
It should be. Yeah, I'm with you. I do like seeing the Zeus a little bit more. There's a little bit of a kill reward, but it's more so like just the snowballing potential of it, that it's a one-shot instant kill, and then you get that upgrade in the weapon. Maybe you can find another one before you go down. It's an interesting tactic, and it's something that I still think is going to be developed over the coming months. But, of course, shout out Rops to make it as mainstream as it is now. And actually force changes to come through with it. I mean, I think the nerfs that came through were specifically because Rops was able to abuse it. Anyways, VHC gets an AWP now. That's a little change up that 2Game has. And it's actually Doc with the final little bullets of his burst there through Squeak Door to take down Art. Great little 5v4 to kick things off.
Yeah, Doc again with the entry. This time with the M4, VHC getting naded out of position, however, having to rotate into lockers. Che will deal with one. Doc falls to Che as well as he's single-handedly opening up the site. Grabs a third onto the Opper, and what indeed has happened as Che just takes matters into his own hands. And as you said, these riflers, these fraggers on Fluxo can grab around by the neck and just take full control of it. B-God's caught around, and there's Lukowski to keep Che alive, and he'll grab the second. So no ace, no quad kill, but what a start from Che. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I think he finds a little bit of an opening through that mini smoke, pops ahead for free, and then the second and third are just so clean from him. 2Game had absolutely no idea what to do. Mechanically, I mean, strategically, very well played from the youngster. I mean, this is a player that has been grinding CS2 ever since it came out. And, I mean, he was one of the top players in the entire world before, of course, Premier fell apart. But, I mean, the resilience from this guy to hold on and get a big opportunity like this on a team like Fluxo, I mean, it's only a matter of time before all that hard work pays off. And hopefully it's with this iteration.
Hard work, dedication. It's the work behind the scenes that you see in full evidence when it comes to game time. Jay carries over that fine form from the last round with the entry into this one on the half buy from 2Game. Almost a full deco. 5-7 from Doc Mars that. More damage being dealt outside. Spinny being forced out of garage. Spotted by Zevi on the retreat, and he's just dancing on the strafes. Lukowski looking for another headshot, but the damage is starting to favor 2Game for a brief moment before Lukowski gets that one. Traded 1-4-1, and now Fluxo can run in towards the A site. Only Doc to defend. The 5-7 opposed. The Zeus makes a kill. It's traded back, however, but this one's getting a little more expensive for Fluxo than they would have liked. All up to Doc now, though. He spots out one. They're reading this well. That's a great call to just fake the plant, expecting somebody potentially back silo. And Art's there for the last pair. 5 straight for Fluxo after the pistol and the ensuing save. And so 2 games start. You alluded to, they needed to start off with the pistol and the conversion and then start building on that. It has not been allowed to build past the foundation.
Yeah, there were a couple look-ins there for 2Game on this comeback from Fluxo, but now it's really difficult, especially after, you know, you have these rounds from players like Che, players like Lukowski, who are starting to have their way with specific parts of the map. It's really up to some big heads-up duels to players like B-God, who showed some mechanical brilliance early on in the game, but has yet to be really let off the leash. This time, Doc, Art, this spam head-to-head has been going on for quite a bit of time. Lukowski actually, I think, spotted there by VHZ's AWP. Shot misses, but information gained at the very least for 2Game here.
They need that information. Helps them with the utility prep, helps them with the rotations, the positions, and the angles. Nyx, just watching for a push. As Fluxo are playing a pretty slow round here, a little bit more going in now. Nyx peeks out, Spinny is removed. Nice headshot from Nyx AK, the MIBR Academy project. BHG about to get timinged! He can't get his gun to bear on Lukowski quick enough. Nyx with another one out through hot. A site conquered by Fluxo. Bomb to go down. Start that timer. And B-God and DZT want nothing to do with this round because there's nothing they really can do in a 2v5. They lack kits. They have basically zero utility. It's going to be 6 straight for Fluxo, and their T side is really taking off.
Yeah, and I mean, this topside defense is just not looking sharp enough. The crossfires that make holding the A site easier than most is betraying them. You have a single player in the back of Silo, you have a player in Heaven, and you have a player sitting in the vents as well. All three of these players should be working harmoniously. Instead, you have specific 1v1s being taken, and that's the worst possible situation at the end of it all, where you're taking unfavorable duels into these T sides, and you're losing out these gunfights. And you know, once one of the dominoes fall, they all fall, and that's how you just see the A side just get completely eradicated. 2Game have nothing to do there but save once those rifles fall, and actually losing all the rifles there, even after all of that effort post bomb plant. You gotta call attack. You gotta get the ducks in a row, because this is very quickly running away from you, and you don't really have that many rounds to play with either.
No, you don't, especially in MR12. 2 timeouts used in succession from 2Game, which is an interesting strategy there. And going into pistols as well. It's not going to be a full buy where they're going to be using their timeouts. They do need the rounds as fast as possible. They can't really afford to lose more than they already have on this CT half. And even then, a pistol round is essentially a necessity with that conversion in round 2 of the half. Not a good spot for 2Game to be in here. A couple of deagles, 5-7. Minimal util. 4 deags in the 5-7. Armor across 4, at the very least. 2 smokes. Can't even go for a nade stack. Try and pick up a gun and scale forward. Outer yard control being taken by Fluxo. Probably not liking the prospect of running into an A site they've been targeting often with pistols up against him. Art doesn't care about what he's up against, though, with that opening kill. The deagle from Spinny not going to connect. He's been spotted, and he's being hunted as well. That's a brilliant shot at Zevi, though. Crisp from Spinny, but I don't think he'll be able to find anything more right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned maybe trying to recover a rifle here and there, but those long-range deagle headshots, it's only good in that actual casualty aspect. I'm going to try to find a little bit of information elsewhere. Doc trying to have a little bit of a lobby crunch, but he's being watched from both angles, high and low. It means that Fluxo have a little bit of room to maneuver here in the 55-second mark. Che clearing out ramp to basically join hands with the rest of Fluxo as they make it downstairs. 2 players here to establish a little bit of a crossfire. So they're not out of the woods just yet. And especially considering how close this timer is getting pulled down to, there could be a real world where Fluxo might get overwhelmed.
There is some potential for that, but they can try to fight their way through. Art, however, caught, as is Lukowski. That world seems to be reality now. Spinny one more. All up to Nick's low on time. 15 seconds to get that bomb down. He does know roughly where the last 2 are, but he's still pressuring in towards B. No time to go A. He does not clear out the cubby effectively enough, and he's out of ammunition. Deagle in hand. No time to plant. He's got to find the kill, and VHC's ran for the hills. He's booked it up top towards A. A time victory off of the deco. Guess the deagle half by to be more accurate, but the double timeout as well. 2Game with the pistols. Find a critical round to stay alive in this best of 1. And Fluxo probably left scratching their heads a little bit, maybe ruining the fact they didn't move a little bit faster.
Yeah, that is absolutely the main issue, Boggs. It's just taking too much time. You know, you don't, I mean, if you're Art, you don't have the complete control over all these players, that you don't understand all their tendencies thus far, so you don't really understand how long they're taking when they're scaling in for what looks like a very simple conversion. Instead, this time around, they're going to try to up the tempo. They're going to try to get Art involved almost instantaneously. With a little bit of a sound cue being given over, Spinny takes him out. They try to drop down into the vents, but Doc has already made the rotation. This is more like it from 2Game. They're catching on to these aggressive tendencies from Fluxo, and they're punishing it and then some.
Another one through the smoke from Spinny. This time onto Nyx, trying to creep on through to first vents. Lukowski dropped as well, and Zephy's in a 1v5, has the bomb, and that is small consolation. The second vents player there to trade Spinny if required, but Spinny's not going to be denied his hat trick. Great round from him. And 2Game, that's exactly the kind of round they needed to stabilize things, string it together, and build forward to the end of this half. Fluxo are going to come to the end of their bye as well. If they lose this round without a bomb plant, they'll be broken to round number 12. And it really is Fluxo getting caught on these aggressive plays. 2Game are expecting it. They know exactly what's coming now. And they found the counter. And they're winning the fights, more importantly, whether they see their opponents or not. The little sound cues are enough.
Now they've rotted the money down. This is a very doable comeback. And if 2Game can amass 6 rounds at the tail end, who knows what's possible with another pistol conversion. This is through the Molotovs for Che. Trying to get that MAC 10 activated, and he does. Make that a double. Beautiful work from Che on the SMG. Now BHZ is caught under scrutiny. Still finds a kill before the bomb can go down. But now that his teammates fallen, it's only up to VHZ in the 1v2 clutch. He's got a rifle if he wants us to switch over, but to his demise, Zevi has made it downstairs. The bomb plant is pretty much instantaneous now. Lukowski will shut it down, and that 6-6 dream has been dashed as Fluxo nab a 7.
7-5, now the best case scenario for 2Game. They still have enough money to reinvest. They'll have a good amount of utility across the board as well. 3 kits to work with. But Fluxo, using their firepower, Che on the MAC 10 double entry. That's not something you could necessarily rely on, but boy, is it helpful if you can get it. But through the fire and flames in the first and then carrying on for the second. Again, that's not something you'll see round after round and get that to work round after round even if you did try. But he'll make it work with the AK on an entry kill. DZT is gone out towards lobby, and Che again with those first frags. How many entries does that make it for him now? Quite a considerable amount. And maybe it's Lukowski's turn to open up the A side. Nyx is shut down by the op. Zevi trades out Doc. 4v3 advantage still to Fluxo.
But Lukowski's made it into the inner sight with pretty much no issues. He has an opportunity to potentially clear out Hut, clear out the rest of the A site. VHZ is also feeling very uncomfortable. There's that kill that Lukowski was looking for. Art finds one onto VHZ. Picks up the op to potentially make matters worse for 2Game, but it's a pretty dire situation already. 1 kill necessary to finish off this half for Fluxo. They find a way to recover the bomb as well, and crisis averted. 1v3 looks pretty much nigh impossible at this point. Fluxo look to gain 8 on their offensive half in a matter of time. It looks so clean from them, looking to secure this first map in the best of 1 series. But we'll take a short break, and when we come back, that second half.
we're in here. Fluxo versus 2Game, Boggs and Paladin on the mic for these two best of ones between these two teams. Nuke is where we find ourselves for the first one, and while 2Game might have won the pistol and the second round and had another string of two later on towards the half, Fluxo, a dominating 8 rounds on the T side, trying to turn that into a swift victory now on the defense. The dual Beretta's out for Che. He's only able to get one, and that leads into a spinny double. Lukowski now has to shut things down top hut. He might even drop down. He's thinking about it. He's trying to push. He spots the shoulder, and he's got one. Makes it a helper onto a second as Zevi creeps on through as well. Lukowski to Tetris. The last player out hut is VHZ, and Lukowski ducks into safety. VHZ domed by Nyx. And so the critical pistol round for 2Game slips through their fingers, and Fluxo find themselves 4 away from a best-of-1 victory.
They wanted to burst into that upper site pretty much off rip. They had the nade open as well, but unfortunately the trades were just too good for Fluxo. Where one player fell, I mean, another pair of dual Berettas were there to take its place. 2Game could never keep up with that kind of a tempo, and eventually they stall out just long enough to have a crossfire established for the 2v1. Nyx takes care of it. It's a full eco necessary for 2Game. Fluxo pretty much confirmed at this point, bar some crazy semantics from Spinny's Deagle, to confirm double digits here.
Nice easy start for Art. Zevi on the dualies, just trying to find something mid-range. Art with the second, farming things. Lukowski trying to bail the bank with the SMG, is able to get 1.5. Not quite that second, as Art will grab the hat trick. And DZT. Nothing doing. Dies the shotgun, the auto shotty of Che. Extra money for Fluxo. And 6 rounds the Gulf now. Critical buy round for 2Game, but they're running out of racetrack and quickly.
Oh yeah. What's the game plan here from 2Game? Because, as you said, not much time left for them. A reminder that this means a whole lot of a lot more to them compared to Fluxo, where if they can find a way to even split a series with a stronger opposition, or try to close out this season with a couple of BO1 victories, they could avoid relegation or the bounce down to open. Either way, be of utmost importance to them here, and those opportunities are continuing to slip by the wayside if they can't hold on for dear life here. Outside control established at the very least, but to their demise potentially, Art has made it into the secret entrance. So if they want to go downstairs, it's going to get ugly.
They're trying. The shadow shows, and Art's going to have a freebie. They're going to have to double this one. For the next, the jump throws Art off enough, and Spinny's able to trade this back to a 4v4. None of the two players on the double peak take 0 damage, so that's a lot better than it probably should have been, considering the positioning of Art. A lot of space now available. Freebie for Doc as well. Lukowski utility in hand. And 2Game with the round at their fingertips. All of the space in the world. And with the weaponry of Fluxo being what it is with the AWP, the XM, and the MP9, you have to assume they're going to go for a save after that kill, especially as the MP9 now down on the ground. Zevi holding B, and they're not going to go B anymore. They're up into the auto shotgun. The bomb drops. Do they have the time? I think they can get it. I don't think Zevi can get to heaven fast enough, so the bomb will get planted. Zevi will have to save. Well, that could have gotten disastrous for 2Game if Che lands a second with that XM.
Oh my goodness. I mean, boys, we don't have to overcomplicate the late round that hard. I mean, really near just disaster. And I mean, for Che, gets the XM kill as well for some extra cash at the tail end. So they'll have a healthy buy. This is more of a bonus situation anyways, bar this purchase from Zevi. So he'll have this moving forward, which should be everything that he needs. And it's pretty much no harm, no foul, considering what happened. And I think both parties will be satisfied. 2-game, get themselves their 5th round. They keep 3 players alive as well, so they've got a little bit of a bank starting to build. And for Fluxo, I mean, definitely you could tell that there were some issues in the defense there. Players in transition unaware of the holes that Doc could exploit, and he did very well there to find 2 kills pretty much for free just based off of positioning alone.
Yeah. Positioning is one of the most important parts. It sets yourself up for a kill. It's arguably a foundation of getting a good kill, and it's a great display of that. Zevi still has that op, of course. No contact yet between the two teams. Just a nice slow and steady default outside from 2-game. That tepid inner control of lobby. Molotov to Hut, preemptively smoked up by Lukowski. That's a good read. So we sit at a standstill. No man's land yet to be cleared. No actual engagement initiated for either side. Oh, he sees the hand! That's a huge kill for Zevi! And the second, too! He waits for the crosshair to stabilize, and not a half-second longer. Clicks mouse 1 again, and that is why he's our player to watch right there. Balashy on the op after that precision strike. Misses the 3rd try, but I think after those first 2, that's forgiven.
Yeah, he won't miss twice, Zevi. He'll confirm that kill. And now 40 seconds left on the clock. DZT and Doc head spinning, seeing their players, their teammates fall right before them. I mean, look, it's not a fun call to make, but I think the save call is the priority. But man, what a round there from Zevi. Just as we spoke about in the pregame, has the ability to take over rounds, stand and deliver when needed. And in an opportunity where there was a world where, you know, maybe 2-game can start to mount a comeback, this was one of those key swing rounds that could decide if that comeback was a possibility. And he stands, makes sure that isn't the case, secures the 11th, and now 2-game truly are in a back-breaking situation.
It is make or break for 2-game. They win this and keep themselves on life support for a while longer. Or they lose this one and they're essentially going to end up like Mr. House with a 9-9. There's not much wiggle room for 2-game. Deagle for Spinny, it's been lethal. But to have to rely on that as a potential last-ditch effort, not a bright spot for 2-game. Utility for Fluxo a bit lacking at this point, however, so there is some opportunity for a late take for the T's. They've yet to do any significant damage. Art spots out over the smoke, the head of DZT. And the spam of the smoke will take him down. Trade from Spinny, though, as he picks up his fallen comrade's rifle. 4v4 to a 4v3. Doc out to ramp. Opens up space towards B.
Yeah, a lot of control taken at this point. Zevi, again, has to do a lot of work outside as well. And that's the bomb back there.
Oh.
Fortunately for them, Doc bails them out. On a wrap through the ramp, through hell, there was no opportunity for somebody to help out. But this flank could actually formulate. Now it's all up to Lukowski in the 1v4 at that situation. Doesn't have the bomb within his sights, but it does have to be recovered by B-God. Doc cannot help. But unfortunately for Lukowski, he has no idea that the bomb has been dropped. Instead, backs away, moves in a secret. Tries to move back up the vents to potentially cut off B-God here. And there is an opportunity, considering Doc is all the way back in Big Garage. But finally, he swings out wide enough to spot it out. And he'll shut it down. Another massive impact round there from Doc, who is really keeping 2-game alive in this game. Just purely off of his positioning and his attention to detail here. Really making Fluxo work for it.
He's making him work for it. He's making him sweat, but There's still such a long road back in. The Mac-10 with an op in hand for VHZ at the very least. Double MP9s and a FAMAS for Fluxo. Their money's shattered as well. Prime opportunity for Nuke to pull this to within 3 rounds. That's where things really start to change, especially as Fluxo have not yet gained 12. There's plenty of opportunity and chances right now for the 2-game squad to bring it back in. But through the smoke, Nyx with the MP9 opens it up. And if they can grab that rifle and work with it, makes Fluxo all the more dangerous. So we get down closer towards the minute mark. Spinny looking for a refrag. One just watching out towards Secret now. DZT goes down the stairs. VHZ in towards Squeaky. Molotov reveals some positioning. That's going to be spotted by VHZ, but he's wise not to take that shot and reveal his hand just yet. But 2Game are going to have to make a play, and that might just kickstart it. It's Doc, of course, again, to level it up.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to join hands, though. 40 seconds left on the clock. They're trying to wrap into the A site, but Art is here, tucked into the big garage, finds himself a double as well. And now things start to unravel as soon as Art springs to life. So does Lukowski. It's all up to VHZ, and I mean, there's too many players to chew through, not enough time, and no bomb as well. This is a Fluxo round written all over it, and likely the map as well, considering the money has absolutely been vacuumed out of the bank accounts of 2Game. What a round there from Fluxo to spring to life and shut down any conversation of a potential comeback here. It is truly just been a dominating affair from Fluxo on both halves of the equation. On that T side, Che has done so much work, and now that we switch over to the defense, Lukowski and Art have paved the way for this map victory.
Yeah, Zevi hasn't had to do all too much. He's had his moments in the sun, but he's been more supportive on this map than otherwise. I mean, it's not the best opping map in general, so, I mean, I guess that's to be expected. She's also had a great T-half. He's calmed down considerably on the CT side. Lukowski, of course, always lethal. You can always count on him to do damage. And Art against these opponents, this level of opponent, I think this is his kind of game, his kind of playground. But you can't discount 2Game. They've done very well in getting the rounds they have won. There's been rounds that could have been a lot closer for them as well. And they do start things off with an upgrade for B-God. With Art going too aggressive all alone outside, this can still turn into something. And as I say, that's a well-timed nade on the smoke. Zevi has a freebie. Lukowski out of ammunition. His help is gone, but Che comes through late and saves the day. It's Fluxo with a 13-6. Just as things are looking rocky, they rip it right back into their control. It's the first best of one of the night between these two teams goes the way of the veteran Fluxo.
Yeah, unfortunately for 2Game, they were kind of goaded into a false sense of security there, thinking that they could catch